Hello, I am here with our Candid Conversations with Saren, who is one of our interns from Tulane University in NOLA, right? Which is New Orleans, if you don't know. And we're just going to have her chat with us a little bit about the work she's doing here and about how she kind of interfaces with our staff here at the Micah Day Center. So, Saren, how did you end up here? You're here for a whole year, right?
Yeah, so I'm a social work student at Tulane.
Getting your master's in social work?
Getting my master's in social work.
And yay, master's in social work.
And we are required to do over 900 hours at our field placement. And I live locally, just a couple streets away from Back Bay Mission. So I wanted to intern here since it's going to be such a long field placement. I wanted to really develop connections in my community through my field placement. So I'll be here for about a year and doing my coursework at the same time and working here 3 days a week at the day center.
So what kind of motivated you kind of beyond that it's close to your home to kind of work with this particular population, unsheltered folks?
I have a lot of experience working with people experiencing homelessness. When I was at Brandeis for my undergrad, I interned at a community day center really similar to the Micah Day Center and did case management there. And I also worked at homeless prenatal program in San Francisco as an intern. So I just really have a connection to this work in terms of doing case management and particularly working with adults who are experiencing homelessness.
Can you tell me a little bit about the homeless prenatal work you did? That sounds really intense.
Yeah, so the homeless prenatal program in San Francisco, they're an excellent organization, a massive organization as well. They have many different programs and departments. So I was specifically working in the domestic violence advocacy department. So in California, there is a program specifically targeted towards survivors of domestic violence where they can still receive unemployment benefits. So it's called DV CalWorks. So there's a waiver that says I'm unable to work because I experienced domestic violence. So the domestic violence advocates at Homeless Prenatal were in charge of giving those client services, some kind of advocacy, referrals, and ensuring that they're meeting the requirements to continue receiving their CalWorks benefits. So I worked with them, and during my time there, it was a contracted program through the state. And during my time there, they were actually transitioning that program out of homeless prenatal. So I was like a critical piece of transitioning that program out with the files and everything, like 5,000 case files.
Wow.
And then also I kind of worked in the triage and case management side of things.
Yeah. Well, maybe this is a great kind of message today for folks that really wanted to go into social work, right? Or kind of humanitarian work, I think is what it is. When I was at the LGBT Community Center in Milwaukee, we were the first to kind of roll out a same-sex domestic violence program, awareness program, and actually dealing with same-sex couples because it's something we don't think about, right? And prenatal and domestic violence and women who are pregnant or whatever, right? It's really challenging. So thank you very much for doing that. And actually, Saren and I are here in front of kind of our reception area at Micah Day Center. If you notice, practice social distancing. That's why we're wearing masks, because we aren't social distancing while we're interviewing. But this is kind of the first stop for our guests to come into the Micah Day Center. And you said you were at Brandeis?
Yes, I did my undergraduate at Brandeis.
And where's that again?
That's in Massachusetts, outside of Boston and Waltham. And I majored in sociology and African and Afro-American studies.
Oh, geez, I didn't know that part.
Yes.
Well, you and I are going to have to talk. One of the things that's always been very, very important to me growing up in northern Mississippi and then living in the south side of Chicago and moving all over has really been kind of the civil rights movement and kind of movements for equity and justice, especially around persons of color throughout the country, whether that's indigenous people or black folk or Asian American, right? But especially digging my heels into the history of the civil rights movement and how it informs movements for equity and justice today.
Yeah.
So that's fascinating. We'll have to talk about that. And Brandeis is a great university. I just can't remember where it was at.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And what do you feel about your experience here at Back Bay at Micah Day Center?
Oh, it's amazing. I've been able to make some really genuine connections with people. We work day in and day out, to try to just make sure people are able to come here and just relax and take care of their personal hygiene, and that's the main goal, is to make sure people are comfortable, because their day-to-day lives aren't comfortable. And I think a lot of people have a misconception about what we do, but really it's all about client self-empowerment and self-advocacy. We aren't trying to get clients to go one way or the other. We're working with them to figure out what is the best fit for them, and how we can help them meet their own goals.
Okay, thank you. So what kind of brought you down to the coast here? It sounds like you went to school in Massachusetts, right? On the East Coast, you went to the West Coast, and now you're here on the, what do we call this, the South Coast?
I've heard it called the Secret Coast.
Secret Coast, yeah.
Well, I'm from here originally, so I graduated from Diablo High School, grew up down here all my life, and moved back after college hoping to find a job. That didn't really take off, so been doing jobs here and there, and then decided to go back to school. So
Yeah.
finally in a place where I'm doing the work I've been wanting to do.
Well, that's awesome. So you really want to dig your heels and your life into this work. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's fantastic. Well, thank you for coming back to the coast, because I think this Secret Coast, South Coast is amazing in so many ways. And I actually met somebody else today who moved back here. She actually works at French Kiss, where I get my coffee on the way here. And she said she's kind of lived all over, but came back here, and she's probably in her 40s, and said this is really home, and she just really loves it here. So thank you for what you do for us here, Saren, especially because, being an intern and doing a placement here can be really, it's a gift, right? Because I know it helps our other two case managers and our other staff out quite a bit. So thanks again. Any final thoughts?
I don't know.
Do you have a favorite quote?
Favorite quote?
Put you on the spot?
Well, my go-to is always be the change you wish to see in the world, which I think is kind of overdone at this point, but it's something that's always resonated with me in terms of moving through the world and behaving and in a way that I feel like is representative of my values and expresses the most kindness, patience, and just a general peace in the world.
Oh, thank you. That's a wonderful closer, and that's one of my favorite quotes too, and I kind of feel like it's overused too, but I still think it's incredibly powerful, right? Be the change you want to see in the world. That's what we're about here. It sounds like that's about your personal life, Saren, and that's really, really powerful. So thanks for joining us today, and we hope to see you back again. Support us in whatever way you can. Thank you.